All right, we're here. We are live
Hey, how you
for
doing,
now.
man?
I'm good, brother. How you been?
Yeah,
Interesting
can't
stuff
complain
today.
much, right? Yeah, no doubt. Could say that.
Interesting stuff today. Um, I don't even know how to approach it. I know how to approach it. How about this? You remember seeing Ghostbusters when you were a kid?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I
Okay,
remember. Yeah, no, I do, of course.
okay. I'm sure that
The flowers are
ghosts.
still standing.
I'm sure that don't cross the streams.
Yeah, right.
Don't. I'm sure that ghosts don't manifest that way, but they do manifest. And most of the times, you don't need to call Ghostbusters to deal with it. But what are they?
Well, you sound as a matter of fact. So if you got some evidence, man,
Well, I have
please
some.
please enlighten
I
me.
have some. I have some opinions.
Yeah, you know what they say about opinions, right?
Yeah, mine are
Just getting
especially
that out
interesting.
there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
First opinion is and the thing is, this is something that I want to believe, but I'm not sure that I do. But it to me, it would make more sense that ghosts are actually people who died but didn't know they died, and they're searching for
Didn't know they died. Interesting.
an explanation. Yeah, like for instance, you get let's say
Are you talking like a
somebody in the civil.
purgatory or more like a limbo?
Well, somebody. Let me explain it to you this way. Let's put it this way. Here's a story: a soldier in the Civil War. No, I'm sorry, the Revolutionary War
Okay.
gets killed by a bayonet. Okay, like slashed, bleeds out under a tree, but he passes out before he dies. So now he doesn't know that he's dead, and his spirit doesn't realize that they're dead, and they're looking for any connection to the world that he knew, or an explanation as to how he was, he died. And once they get that, they
Interesting.
can cross over. But until they get that sense of closure, they're stuck here searching for answers.
Boy, they must have been in that position for a long time for things to have cleared away like that. To not see anything in the battlefield or hear anything in the distance of fighting, for example. That's interesting. Or could they hear for that matter?
That's the thing. That's
No,
I would want to believe that makes sense. That say you die in a car accident, but you didn't know, like you died instantly instead of, you know, days in a hospital
right.
or whatever.
But that doesn't make sense that the reason is what keeps you here. Because you must know as soon as you die, if you're in a
No,
spiritual
no, no.
place, you turn around and see your corpse there. Clearly, you're
I,
dead.
I don't think that that's the way it works. I think that somehow your being,
What, can't see your corpse there?
right.
Hmm.
It's like a delayed
That
reaction of
sounds like a
coming back.
loophole.
No, it's like a delayed reaction of coming back, or coming back on a different plane where you don't see what you know, what's around you, and in
Well,
your
then,
search,
yeah, but you mean you don't see the living? Then how do you see trees and grass and
in your
whatever?
search, a different plane doesn't mean that you don't see trees and grass. A different plane means that you may see. For all I know, someone in the Revolutionary War, once they die, they may their being may come back in a plane where it's now the Civil War. You know what I'm
Oh, you're
saying?
saying where their time even changes.
Yeah, everything changes,
Hmm.
and so they're looking for an answer as to why no one, why they're dead, or if they're dead. They don't know what's happening to them.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know. That's deep. I'd like to. I need to. I haven't heard personally of an experience like that, or even not. I mean, even not anywhere really. That doesn't
Okay,
sound very common to me. That a situation like you're explaining. So I don't
well,
know.
I do
I'm not
know that
saying I
there's
don't
been
believe it. I just, you know,
I do know
hey,
that
it'd be
there's been
nice.
experiments, and one notable experiment is a doctor who observed patients dying, and when they did, they were also on a scale, and there was a noticeable change in
I've
the
heard of
body weight.
something like that. Yeah,
I think it was like 2 grams or something, two and a
it
half
was
grams.
minuscule. Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
small, but it was measurable. But there's a lot of things that could be. Well, I guess if they, it depends. I want to say that they were weighing everything, the person, the mattress, everything. You know.
So now the other thing is,
Mm.
maybe they're not beings that passed on. What if I told you, I do think that this is a possibility, is that ghosts are not really ghosts, but they're beings from a parallel reality, and they're bleeding through every so often, um, due to strains in the barrier between the two realities.
Hmm.
And so are we. As a matter of fact, we're bleeding over and appearing as ghosts or whatever to them.
Interesting. Hmm.
I mean, that would
That
explain,
sounds
for
like
instance.
sliders to me.
Well, no, not really. I'm talking about, for some reason. All right, picture this: you're in a house, an
Hmm.
old house, and you got a cup on the counter, and all of a sudden the cup flies off the counter. So you put the cup back on, cup flies off. Now, here's a theory. What if it's a person in a parallel universe, and they intentionally threw that, got that off the counter, and now they're pissed because it keeps getting back on, so they keep slapping it off in
Oh,
their
they're scared
reality.
because all they
In
see
their
is the cup.
reality. So they keep slapping the cup off, and all you see is the cup flying, not knowing that it's somebody intentionally throwing the cup, because you
Right.
can't see them in a parallel reality.
It's interesting.
So
You
that's
know.
no, yeah. I mean, I don't know how to prove something like that.
Yeah, I know, right? That's,
But in the same sense,
know,
it does
show
make
me a cup
sense.
flying across the room.
It does make sense when, like, those
It's a
ghost
reach
hunters
for it
and
to make
whatnot.
sense, though.
Well, hold on a
Yeah, I
second.
know.
Listen to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
The ghost hunters and stuff like that with the EMT, is it the electronic, oh crap. They have these things that they can tell when an electromagnetic field and it is disturbed, and they have voice boxes, so to speak, where they could, spirit boxes, where they could say, ask questions, and sometimes you'll hear a response, although it's very hard to make out. And I'm saying it's possible that it's a conversation being held with someone in a parallel reality.
Hmm.
And what
See,
you're
I
what
don't,
they're seeing
I don't
on the
think it's a parallel reality, because if another reality bled over to our side, well, then we would know it wasn't a ghost. We would know, like that person that you're saying is receiving us on the other end. They realize too, it's not ghosts. It's just people that are bleeding through. That's what that would be. It'd be like this,
unless they just hear the voices, and we just hear their voices.
But even still, then you would know in that conversation that you weren't hearing from the dead. You were hearing from a living person somewhere else.
How would you know the difference?
Because of what the people would say to each other, the conversation they would have, how they would have it. It wouldn't be a spirit talking to a living person, regardless of what realm they're from. They would be
I've seen them
talking
where
like they were from the dead, looking for something or perhaps someone or a warning.
I've seen them where they ask the entity's name and they respond. You know, oh, my name's David or Steven or whatever.
True, true. But well, go ahead. I didn't realize you had more to say.
No, I'm just saying that it can't be ruled out. It can't be totally ruled out, but then again, it can't be confirmed. We don't have the technology to look at a parallel reality or as some people call it, a alternate dimension. We don't have that capability right now.
I thought the Hadron Collider or something like that, and one of their experiments proved that there might be other things as other dimensions or realms or whatnot. And that wasn't that long ago. That was fairly recent, within the past 6 months, I want to say. You know, that they
I know the experiment with the dual column light.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't heard of them with a breakthrough on the collider yet.
Yeah, because they were doing something on a I don't know. I probably should have more information before I spout that, but I'm pretty sure it was something along a similar conversation to this. It would, would have applied. I'm not saying to the dead or anything like that, but to other doors, other places.
Right.
Potentially.
And they said it's possible, or they said it's definitely.
They said that they're saying that there's more evidence. There's more.
So there's actually something there.
There's some there. There's some meat to that. There's some substance there. Probably something that requires further investigation. Because them, they just, that's one experiment. Let's get that a couple of times. So yeah. So it's a start. It's something that could be good. Maybe that's how we get 0 point energy. That would be nice.
I personally do not have the answer. I know that sounds weird coming from me.
I know, right? I'm aghast.
But I do not have the answer. There's many things I want to believe.
Yeah, I know, me too.
And then there's many things that I just can't grab a hold of. It just doesn't. Like, someone came up with the idea that ghosts are actually aliens who have a certain visibility capability, so they look less.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't
fleshed out than
we do. They wouldn't communicate like you'd expect.
Well, they're aliens, so how would they know how to communicate?
Exactly. They wouldn't. They would have no idea how to properly communicate to us in that way. It would be so obvious that it wasn't. You would think of it as
one of the things that I just
it would be like asking the computer which one's the traffic light. That's what it's like.
I mean, to me, it's another one of those theories that I just can't grab. I can't in good conscience say, yeah, that's a possibility. There's too many. It's
too far of a stretch. It's too far of a stretch.
Right.
It's too much.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one.
Right. But for me to absolutely say that it's definitely not possible, I can't say that.
There's nothing definite. There's no absolute.
I can't say that apparitions, poltergeists, spirits, whatever you want to call them, cannot and will not and do not exist.
Maybe they don't in the way that we are thinking of them now. They may exist as something else. Maybe ghosts are pure energy. Maybe that's what we turn into when we die. Every once in a while you can see that.
That brings me kind of to the religious question. I mean, and I hate to do this because I want to stay away from religion, but reincarnation could be taking the energy from one and putting it into another.
Yeah, but the only holes I see in that is is when you're in in a society that's growing so much, where do you get the new souls from? Or when you have a shrinking society, where do the souls go that don't have a body to go
To the societies that are growing.
But still, you know what I mean? I mean,
Flushes
I
that out,
suppose
don't it?
if there's maybe that's where other universes come into play. But still, even in those universes, they need to have the same. They're going to have the same issue, you know, as far as our, unless they're different physics and so on and so forth in those other places. But that's probably another topic.
Yeah, yeah. I just.
But yeah, I
It
mean,
may have
that's the
looked
only
like I
thing
blanked out.
I've
It may have
thought
looked like
about.
I blanked out, but I just got a couple more topics in my head that just came in while you were talking.
Well, no, I mean, as far as reincarnation goes, it's like I'm not necessarily opposed to that concept in a few different levels. There's a few different ways, in my opinion, that could happen, because we could.
Right.
Then that's when we get maybe we could go down as far as dogs and cats and so on, other lower life forms of animals. I mean, I'm not sure how far that would go in this
So
scenario.
you don't buy the dung beetle theory?
I don't know. I mean, if reincarnation is life, then well, that's a really big. That's a lot there in life. I mean, a planet you could consider life, you know, and one realm or another. I mean, what do you consider life? The
And then
individual
I have to wonder
cell.
if there's ghosts on other planets.
I would imagine if they were here, they'd be there. Why not, right?
That would make sense.
I would think that life
But
would have a soul. Doesn't matter what shape and size it comes in.
what about all those people born without one? Just kidding. Just kidding. Although
Hey,
there are
you
some
know,
people I question. There are some that I question. But anyway,
I hear
I
you. No, I can understand that sentiment. As harsh as it might sound.
so I'm admitting for the first time ever in front of God and everyone that I don't have the answer, and I probably never will.
Well, no,
But that
there is
doesn't
one day you will. You will
that
know
doesn't
one
mean,
day.
well, you don't know that. I could be worm fodder.
It could be worm fodder. I plan on being worm fodder, to be perfectly honest with you. That's my plan. I will not be burned. And it
But
won't be full of chemicals.
so yeah, I have those two theories or ideas. I don't know which one I lean more towards. I'm just wondering what everybody else thinks, because I'm sure everyone has thought about it at one frame, one point or another.
In one frame
If they
of
have,
mind or another.
well, that's true. Mushrooms aside, but as I was saying, I'm sure other people have other experiences, or maybe some experiences at all. Some people don't have any, or opinions or whatever. I'd love to see some of them in the comments, and I can guarantee that we would answer every single one of them.
Hey, that just gave, but as we're coming to a close here, I just thought of a future topic. Maybe if anyone's out there watching this, how about we do Reefer Madness one day?
As in
If
the
you
movie?
Not necessarily just the movie, but the theme around that. That could be interesting.
That's something to explore at a later date. And leave your opinions on that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when all of our videos are coming out.
That too, yes.
And
Like, yeah.
as we say,
What's up?
I will see you in the funny papers.
Good man.